Yes, we are here again on the Sheet 919 FM for the Iwer Way of Life. Right here, each and every Monday night between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. with my host King Shaka as always. We are proud to be here. Olodumare has blessed us and give us the strength, the knowledge, wisdom, and the understanding to be here again to impart our knowledge and bring the truth to you. As I will always start by saying, Iriwoya,
Ayabo, Ayato.
Iriwoya,
Ayabo, Ayato.
Iriwoya,
Ayabo, Ayato, Ayaje, Ayamo. Omo Iriwo, Shimpe.
May Orisha bless us all. May the Ori self and the Ori Inu, the one that dances in front of the mat, be in total alignment. Let the bright light of E.G. Ogbe continue to illuminate our lives. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. My reverence to God, He that spreads all over the universe. Reverence to the dawn of the day. Reverence to the sunset. Reverence to the Mother Earth. Reverence to Urunmilia, witness to creation. Reverence to the 200 Iromale on the right hand side of God. Reverence to the 200 Iromale on the left hand side of God. Reverence to the 401 Iromale, the ones that shuttle between heaven and earth. Reverence to Akoda, the first Ifa student. Reverence to Asida, Akoda's first student. Reverence to the mothers, the beautiful birds. Reverence to one's ancestors. Reverence to one's father. Reverence to one's mother. Reverence to one's Olowo. Reverence to one's Ojobona. Praise to the chief of the white cloth. Praise to the chief of the sacred grove. Praise to the chief of the invisible realm. I salute the owner of the white cloth. It is the owner of consciousness that I serve. It is the owner of consciousness that I serve. It is the owner of consciousness that I serve. He mends in white robes, he sleeps in white cloths. He wakes in white cloths, he rises in white cloths. Venerable Father, ye my host consort. Orisha delights me as he is state. It is a delectable place where Orisha is enthroned. I say, my guest tonight, I have FNDG. Baba FNDG, I say thank you for being able to attend here on the Sheet 919 FM on the Iwer Way of Life. And you know, we are in festival mood of celebrating the Obatala Festival.
I'm really feeling it.
Yeah, you know, COVID trying, but we shall prevail. I pay respect to the elders of my space, the Yami Egbe Imo, located in Kunupia. Are Ifa Lashe, Shalashe, Gun Leti Egbe Pomeleri. Ya Ga Egun, Bemi Beyoya. Ye Obadi Ola Ifeyomi. Ishubaye Ifeyoma Temeleri. I like to say, blessings goes out to the sponsors who have continued to give us the funds, who have continued supporting us to keep this program here. Drip by drip, we are being able to fund this program because this program is not free. I must say thanks to Sharifa and Iwer George and the staff of the Sheet 919 FM who has given us the opportunity to keep this program here. And I pay respect to Erin Falami.
Ben.
That ancestor who has started this project and
He laid the cornerstone.
yes, he laid the cornerstone that King Shaka and Ayala Tumishe can be here to continue.
Ben.
And we get the guidance of the great elders we have in the diaspora who from day one. And just a few months we'll be making a year. We'll be making a year, you know. And it is a blessing, you know, so a blessing that I say that Olodumare continue to give us the blessings, the guidance. May he should continue opening the doorway for us. May Baba Ogun continue clearing the pathway. Kabiyesi Shango give us the justice that we need. And all the rest of our Orishas, may they be here with us, especially our ancestors, day by day. May we always continue to give our ancestors that veneration and that blessings each day. But the sponsors, Shaka,
Ekali, Trinidad and Tobago, our listeners, both locally and abroad, we say thanks for everything. We have a new sponsor on the show, and that is the Throne of Gold. That is Iya Bemisuke. She sells palm oil, shea butter, all ritual items that one uses within the diaspora. She also has a jam as well, where she takes local fruit, example pomerac, pomsite, and all of these things, and she makes jam. No additives, no chemicals, no preservatives. It's all natural. You can find her on WhatsApp at 754-5128. You can also find her on Instagram as well. We have Omoinu, All Things Woman, the Women's Haven distributor for Trinidad and Tobago. You can find her on WhatsApp at 365-4332. We also is strongly supported by the Lock Duck. You can find her on Facebook and also on Instagram at 352-5706. We also have the Ogun Oshun Vegetable Mart located at Omera Road, Arima. Right? We also have Bridal Bouquet TT. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. 4917539. We thank you so much.
Enlightenment is here and ready to welcome all children ages 2.5 to 5.5 years old to learn in a unique and exciting environment. Who are the Yoruba people? Where was the Mali Empire? Who is Gangang Sarah? What is Ifor Orisha? Your child will learn the answers to all of these questions and more. Our Ministry of Education approved curriculum includes storytelling, drumming, drama, music, dance, and other exciting teaching tools. We offer learning in a caring, safe space as we instill positive values. For more information and to register your child, like us on Facebook or call us at 366-7558. The Ifor Orisha School of Enlightenment, a preschool that will transform your child.
Yes, so the other sponsors on the Ifor Orisha Way of Life are Kamara's Culture Store, the #1 important supplier of genuine products from Africa, located at Adams Bazaar, Main Road, Chaguanas. Gossip Gel Polish, Nice Nuts Quillian brand bottled coconut water, Peri by Risi, Temple Ojuba Orisha Umulu, Egypt Village, Chaguanas. Nubian Experience, #6 Woodford Street, Arima. And Nicole Hoggins Health and Wealth Lifestyle, 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. But I'll just like to tell you guys about Nubian Experience. Nubian Experience is a clothing store that tells a difference, tells a rich part of our culture and of our history, our African history. And you guys should call the brother Orisha Lashe at 688-1979. Get in contact with him and let us start to support our own. Let us support our own. Sure. Right, so my guest is here, Efundiji, Baba Efundiji. I welcome you again.
Well,
The mic is all yours, Baba.
I give thanks. I give thanks for the opportunity to be present tonight.
Sure.
I give thanks for the opportunity to share whatever little knowledge that I may have been able to gather along this path.
Benny.
But in so doing, I must first pay homage to all of my elders. I pay homage to Oloye, Oramfe Jakuta Shango, Olakila Masatungi. I pay homage to Oloye, Ogunriola of Ife, Lester Ogunboale Osuna. I pay homage to all of those elders who have contributed to my growth and development. I pay homage to Iyamoye, who is now in the realm of the ancestors, who was at that time the head of Enyawa. I pay homage to even some of those persons who I never met, but who would have contributed to those, who would have taught those who taught me. It is an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. It says, how can one refuse to answer the call from responsible people? So, I thank you for the opportunity to be present.
No problem, Baba. No problem.
In coming, I was asked to look at a relationship between ancestors and Obatala.
Benny.
Let me first preface by saying that the knowledge that has come down to us and has been passed on from hand to hand, from generation to generation here in Trinidad and Tobago is at times at variance and at difference from what one may find on the continent. True. Because we had to create in order to survive. And as such, we have the right and the responsibility to create tradition. So what has happened and what took place in the past has now become tradition here in Trinidad and Tobago. In recent years, maybe 15, 20 years or so, there has been a move by several persons to reconnect with the tradition as it is on the continent. And as such, there has been an influx of Babalaos and Yanifas and other persons coming in from the continent to add. And I use the term add. Oloye Ogunriola likes to use the term afiku, to add to what we have here. True. In my opinion, what we have here in Trinidad and Tobago is extremely rich culture and tradition. While it has been merged as part of the survival technique with Christianity as part of the syncretism in order to survive, we now have the opportunity to re-emerge as a holistic and as a clear tradition, separate and apart from that. So we can go back to being Orisha, Ifa Orisha in whole, without the syncretism.
let me say that anyone who, or any space, any pale, any egbe, any organization that maintains the practice of the syncretism, it is their right to do so. I would be wrong to tell anyone that if this is what you have, until you have reached that point in time that you feel or you are moved and guided or you are directed, if the syncretism is working for you, then who am I to say otherwise?
True.
That's a fact, because people move at different levels of knowledge, because in order for one to move forward, the information must be consistent with what they believe in and with what they feel. So in terms of the syncretization of our tradition, it is based on one doctrine, and when knowledge is added, it would redirect one's ori to a different place. So it's all about keeping that ori in alignment, to move with the information.
Correct, I agree. We all, as you said, we all move at different speeds. Right? So many years ago, I was crawling and creeping. Then I learned how to walk. But before I learned how to walk, I understood that I had to learn how to fall in order to get back up. Facts.
Yeah.
So as I grew, I developed. So I no longer crawl. But crawling was an essential stage in the development. Falling was an essential part of the development. Because in falling you learn to get up. So those persons who are still along the path, I petition Olodumare, I petition the Imale, I petition the Orisha, I petition the ancestors, that they would find their path, that their Ori would lead them to their place of destiny. And that wherever it is that they are, it is where they're supposed to be until they continue to move forward.
Facts. Ashe. Alat, Mishe, you can remember there was a conversation we had that people chose their destinies from heaven, or we should say Orun. And it's when we come on earth here, it's when we are born into families or born into communities that would help us to align ourselves with the direction, or help us to reinitiate ourselves in what we chose from heaven. So that is why initiation, it's a serious thing, because some of us may think that the road that we are following is the correct road for us, because we was not shown something different. So finding oneself, finding your blueprint, as we always say, is so important in making our journey on this earth here valuable, and not making mistakes that would cost us, in the long run.
It makes the journey a little bit easier.
Yes, it makes it easier. We have to find what is ours and hold on to it, because yes, syncretization and all of these things have taken place, but when we look at the results, we're looking for results here, which is self-actualization, which is you have to know yourself, know what works for you, what colors would vibrate and for you, what foods to eat to empower you. And these are the things that helps one in one's life journey. So if one is not self-actualized, they will have to come back again to walk over a journey that they failed to accomplish when they was here at this pace and time. So self-actualization through initiation is so important. It is so important because we don't want to fail on our mission and have to come back again.
No.
To walk the same road again.
I'd just like to say good night to those folks streaming on Facebook who taking in the Orisha Way of Life each and every Monday night. Jamie JJ Simmons, I have Spice Roberts from Tobago. She says this is the first time she's beyond because her family listens to the program.
Welcome, Spicy.
On Facebook, we say welcome. Jamie Simmons says, Alafia Ikale to everyone on the panel. Orisha Lashe from Nubian Experience says, Abora Boya Aboshishe to the panel, the guests and everyone listening. Judy James, Alafia, Spice Roberts, she says she needs a contact. You can contact us after the show at 3494121. And it is so lovely to see, Shaka, that the show has reached this part and this junction that people started to call people. They're interested, they would like to go and learn more about Orisha. And this show here, once you call and you ask to be guided, like I said, I had this discussion with Shaka. We are going to direct you guys to people who can give you all that information, who can support you, and there are enough Ilays and Palays in Trinidad and Tobago. The tradition is growing. It was
always here.
It's always here, but it's coming out. It's coming out. So we say thank you for all who have been with us on Facebook, on YouTube. I'm here now because I'm a Obatala initiator. I'm just glad to learn more about Baba Obatala each and every night. But we have to balance it. So we are on the aspect of Obatala Festival, which is being kept on the 30th of January, which is this Saturday. However, due to COVID restrictions, certain things happen. I know Baba, the Obatala King is going to call in. Obala is going to call in and edify us on what is happening. So the meantime, what we are here about tonight is learning more about the ancestral connection with Obatala.
Let me just add and take up on a note that you said just now, that the tradition is coming out, and it is, if I remember correctly, in the 2010 census that was done in Trinidad and Tobago, was the very first time that on the census was listed Orisha as a religion.
Say that again, Baba.
The 2010 national census was the first ever census that reflected Orisha as under the heading of religion. So that was the first time that any citizen in Trinidad and Tobago could have put Orisha as their religion.
Wow.
So before 2010? 2010. Before that, it would have been either Baptist or other.
And that is just the other day, a decade ago.
Yeah, they just sign up our phone and put the right thing now, eh?
So, well, you might get the opportunity to do it this year because there was supposed to be a census in 2010, and I believe it is supposed to be done this year. It was supposed to be done in 2020. It's done every 10 years, sorry. So I believe it should be done this year.
I just want to say, Orisha Lashe says, Egbe Onesene Ludomari is locked on as they are preparing to celebrate their 50th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's Chief Oramfe. As people know him as Olodari. They know down there at Pity Valley, they're celebrating Sparrow Drive 50th anniversary. Our places to go, Shaka. Yes.
Well, at the beginning, that is one of the persons that I paid homage to because that was the very first space at which I was initiated and introduced to Orisha spirituality. And and I had the honor, the privilege to join them 2 Sundays ago at their first Ijuba for the year.
Yes.
So Orisha spirituality is growing, and a lot of it has been a lot of the responsibility for that growth and the coming out, and I like to use the term the de-devilization of Orisha spirituality.
Facts.
Has been responsible. The responsibility has fallen on people like Dr. Iwer into Springer.
Yes, she called in last week.
Oloye Roll Gibbons. And when Roll Gibbons was at the Creative Arts Center at UWI,
UCFA,
was responsible for imparting a lot of that and
yes,
removing some of the stigma through the advent of work done at the Creative Arts Center,
yes,
at UWI. So we now have a greater presence on the national community. We've had opportunities. We have the Orisha Marriage Act. And the interesting thing about it is Trinidad is the only place in the world that has an Orisha Marriage Act. So we have made progress, and we are making progress.
Time for me to read you my vows. I'm going to do it the right way.
yeah,
Out of the Western world and into the real thing. You know, Shaka?
yeah. Well, this time
After you though.
paid my part.
So all of this work has been responsible, and it's, while it's happening now, it's only the manifestation of a lot of work that was done before. A lot of the elders before, who cleared the way. It's now possible for me as an Orisha devotee to legally carry my name, to go to work in a government office.
Sure.
In our traditional way.
Yes. Facts.
So you are saying to me that back then you could not have worn this outside of emancipation?
For many people, no. The stigma attached to it from various aspects of the national community, the state, the stigma attached by other religious organizations. So even for persons who were practitioners of the tradition, had to hide, had to disguise themselves in order that their children would not be stigmatized and that they would not be stigmatized.
And even so too, there was a time up until recently our children could not wear their elekes and beads in the schools. Teachers and principals used to rip it off up until I think it was 2 years back.
Yes, I think it was a case about 2 years back.
Yeah.
And
serious victimization used to take place.
So the work that our ancestors have done, we are now bearing the fruit.
Sure.
So therefore, we now of this generation have a responsibility, and to build upon that foundation that has been laid by our ancestors. And for me, that is why ancestral veneration is so important. It is our ancestors who teach us. If we were to look at it in the context of passing on of information, a child may learn from the parent. That parent would have learned from the grandparent. parents, and so going back. So the information comes down to us through family lineage. Now, yes, we have the opportunity that we can sit and learn and study from a Babalawo or an Ifa. And that too is good. But it is our ancestors who have been teaching us for years, all through this time that we've been here. It is our ancestors who have held on to the knowledge, who have passed it on. So, if we do not pay reverence to our ancestors, we certainly missing the boat.
So true.
Facts.
You know.
There isn't a shrine or a space I have gone and I haven't heard this beating in my ears.
Yeah.
Ancestors, ancestors, ancestors.
It's a fact. And it's also important as well because we have to demystify the myths and the notions that surrounds the word ancestors, because all other groups of people within this world give reverence to those who have passed on before them.
And you know, I'm not
All
attacking
groups.
no group specifically, but the Chinese, they outright with the ancestors
And they are right.
They don't play.
Right.
And they are right.
Very
they
correct.
don't play.
They are right because charity begins at home. If we don't honor our grandfathers, our grandmothers who took time to help nurture us and help feed us and build a foundation for us, and we forget them, it is as if we are burning the bridge that we have crossed. It's our ancestors that have us in a comfortable position right now.
Right. Well, we have ancestors who, here, from Trinidad, who, like we were saying before, who had to take licks.
Watch out the shoulders, just connect to one another. Everybody who come here, they just be connecting back.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's a story being just look.
Oh, they had to hide. We could walk around the place and we could have drums. We could have festival in Woodford Square, wherever we choose. We calling the police and asking for escort when we have procession.
Yes.
You know, Chief Aramfre came here, Chief Antoine from Irada, you know, Shango Wumi from the Samak. Everybody spoke about that time when the reason why the palace was deep in the bush. You know, Baba Okan was just there last week and speaking about right in the day, and the police coming and you know everything. Yada gate, man says.
If they made that sacrifice, we are now benefiting.
Yeah.
I am benefiting from the sacrifices that they have made.
Benny.
I cannot be so ungrateful as not to give them thanks. I am not ungrateful.
Like Baba, I was having a conversation with a partner of mine. He said, Duke, I know that name again. I said, yeah, that's the Western world name, you know what I mean? I said, Allah to me, you know what I mean?
Bless them.
He said, I said, you're talking about these ancestors and things. He said, what is that about it? I said that your grandmother and your grandmother, mother and them and all of them. I say pay respect to your ancestors, and me, I'm lying to tell you, my ancestors have been working for me so great since I have been a part of this diaspora. And I say to myself, should I be a little more earlier, boy? But nothing before it's time.
Sure.
You know, so why it is the Western world tell you that, all right, on this first week in November, when you could go and check your ancestors, when you could go and feed them, clean them up. So you tell me from that time to the whole of this year, my ancestor anything, you ain't clean up around the grave, you ain't sorting them out. So it's
You're
what?
not even talking about
You know, but if you go the day after and you do it, you know what they're telling you? The great word, the 5-letter word, Obia. You know?
You go into organizations and you would see on the walls of organizations all the past presidents and CEOs of organizations. Those are the ancestors of that organization. You go into the city and borough corporations, and you would see all the past mayors on the walls.
You would even go in the president house, you would see from Ellis Clark come straight up to Max,
Patrick Manning.
You know?
Yeah.
All those ones.
Those who are passed on, those are ancestors. So our ancestors are not limited to your family, your blood family. Because if you belong to an organization, the ancestors of that organization are also your ancestors.
I see.
There's a connection.
So we have yes, your blood lineage ancestors are important, and they may be given priority. But if you belong to an organization, the ancestors of that organization who contributed in order for you to be part of the organization now, you must pay respects to them.
Facts.
At Ili Ishoka, we have an ancestral space for the indigenous community of Trinidad and Tobago as well. Because they were the first inhabitants of this place. So we give them respect. So ancestral reverence is an important aspect of this tradition. It is an important aspect of anyone's life. Whether you whatever your spirituality or religion is, ancestral veneration is important. It is saying thanks for you who have made it possible for me to be here.
And it's strongly integrated in having respect. It is strongly integrated into having respect, because if we don't thank people for their contributions into our lives, it's then we would be deemed ungrateful. You know? So it's very serious.
I just want to touch a comment here by Jamie Simon. She says, if you inherited the last place your ancestors dwell in, the home outside, a small place, light your candles for them. You don't need to go by the grave only.
Yes, but that is true.
That is true.
You have to also remember that cemeteries are a relatively new concept. In many places on the continent, the backyard is where persons are buried, sometimes in the house. In the Rada community in Belmont, members of the family are buried in the back of the compound, still up to today. So, having to go to the cemetery is a relatively new
Cemetery
thing.
was there.
Yeah, the cemetery was home.
Was home, you know.
So you didn't have to go anywhere. You know, grandpa and grandma was in the backyard or in the room.
And that was done to preserve, you know, the ancestral connection with those who had passed on.
So that vibration riding.
And that kept our heritage and all of these things intact.
And that is, in my opinion, that's one of the ways that we immortalize our ancestors, by telling the stories, by telling the things that they did. We pass it on to the future generations. So their names are continuously called. So they are always energized simply by the calling of their names. They are constantly energized.
I heard Baba say that he changed his name and he adopted a name that is out of the Eurocentric ideology. And even that to our names connects us to our ancestors. Our name connects us to our ancestors. Our ancestors, when they came here, they had to surrender their family names, and it's now incumbent on us to reconnect through divination, through Iwer consultation, or whichever you have it, to reclaim our correct names, our family names. You know, it's so important.
And that is so true. I would like to encourage people, and if you have through initiation that a name has been given to you, I would like to encourage people to take it. It's not a very expensive process, and it's
costly.
It's not costly. At this point in time, I cannot give you what the cost is, and it's a legal process that you need to go to an attorney and have a deed of poll prepared, and that is submitted, and the name is
so that means all your documents will have to be adjusted from your birth paper.
Your birth paper is not changed.
It's not changed.
No, your birth paper is not changed, but everything else,
the passport, the visa,
everything else will be changed.
Okay.
But I understand the connection that people have, because that too is history. That is true, is your historical, your ancestral connection to whatever name that you have, that your grandmother would have used, and I understand that connection as well. And sometimes people may say that they want to hold on to that because that too is their lineage, and I appreciate that. But sometimes I have seen for myself the benefits of making this change.
Power in the name.
Yeah.
The power in the name.
It does have sometimes a remarkable effect, you know, and it's nice, so you can then pass it on to your children and to their children, and this, and again, because of the work of our ancestors, we now have a generation of young people, 20s and early 20s and who were born from the time of their birth that they have been able to carry these traditional names.
Yes.
And those are the ones who are going to make a significant change in the future. 20 years ago, and you call some, and you call a name Alatumishe, and one person will turn around, yes. Now you walk in a place and say Alatumishe, and about 10 people turn around.
Yeah. And that's the work of our ancestors. That's the work of our ancestors.
So we need to continue to build upon that and to give reverence to our ancestors. Everything that we do is ancestral.
True. And things did not change just like that. They toiled, you know, they prayed. And they really laid the foundation for us to carry on.
And they sacrificed.
Yeah.
And sacrifices, we know, is not offering or blood offering or fruit offering. Sometimes the sacrifice is of your time.
But someone says, Spice Shabbat, who's on the show for the first time in Tobago, she said she paid $1,200 for her own. But as Baba says, the only thing that don't change is the birth paper. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all.
So it is, and also the person who, like I said before, my first initiation and introduction was at Egbe on the Selo Davari. But the person who was responsible for bringing me there, who's also in the realm of the ancestors, Omitola Peter Neil Lawrence, one of my then martial arts instructors. He did not completely change his name, but he added it to his name, and that was legally done as well.
Okay. What was his name?
Omitola. It was Peter Neil Lawrence, and he added Omitola. Omitola Peter Neil Lawrence. So there are different ways. So persons who may not wish to relinquish the family surname, they can add to it.
Add a good name, a name that would tell of your share and your spirituality and all of these things, and open doors and and all of these things for you.
Yes, man. So we're going good. We are here with Baba Ifundeji. I'm going to be hooked up on a live call. The Obatala King, Trinidad and Tobago. Obatala. And we are going to speak about the Obatala Festival, which is coming up on Saturday, 30th of January 2021. In this COVID year.
The continuation of this COVID year.
Continuation, you know.
And the Obatala, Trinidad and Tobago, he's here now. I mean, the Obatala Festival is one of the larger festivals that we have in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
And we have seen, I think last year it was around the 4th to the 5th of January. So we have...
Last year it was... Baba, you could just take down the volume on
the volume?
Yeah.
On the TV?
Yeah.
Alright.
Last year it was actually on the...
How it's sounding now?
Take it on a little more.
It's sounding alright?
Yes, Baba. You go ahead. It's all yours. Again, some problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, a little more.
Good?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, right. I know you can hear it. Aida?
You know, it happened last year on the day that I buried my mom.
Obatala ye.
Baba is saying,
Obatala wasala ye. Obatala ye. Obatala wasala ye. Obatala ye. Obatala wasala ye.
Orisha.
How are you? Thank you very much for allowing me the time.
Yes.
Greetings, Shaka, greetings.
Akali Baba.
Alatu Miche.
Ekale Baba.
Ifundeji. Yes, long life, yes, the blessing, yes, the good thing. Always, as we move forward, you know, we talk, but we need to put the talk into action.
Benny.
You know. Anyway, we're going to talk about your Obatala Festival. There's a slight change. I remember the last time I was on, we spoke about the craft market and the food market, but we have to put that off because we just can't assemble. You know, the space that we're using is a very small space, so we opted not to have anything public at all. So what we would have, we would observe all the sacrifices and the efforts that we need to do, but we try to keep it as private as possible. You know, because we want everybody to be safe. And that is part of our responsibility. To make sure that nobody gets sick. You know, so for what we, myself and Yala, in Tehran, what we came up with though, is if we can get everybody, all the Obatala people, that day on Saturday at 2 o'clock, we want everybody to access, those who have Obatala pots, get in white, get before your pot, and let us do a thing national. And we could spread our Obatala energy all across. You realize having people who would come at our shrine in Tableland who would assemble around the Obatala situation at 2 o'clock. We will be doing the same thing at Itawasa, and we'll be hoping and praying that all those other Obatala devotees, even if you're not an Obatala devotee, and you don't have an Obatala pot, you can go to issue. You can access Obatala to issue. Or you can just stand with a white bowl or a calabash of water facing east and pray to Obatala, and he will hear your prayer. You know, so at 2 o'clock on Saturday, we want to all do that. You know, we want to gather in whatever little shrines that we have, whether it's in Shoguanas, whether it's in Toko, whether it's in Point, you know, and we could gather around our Obatala pots or Obatala shrines and make manifest something positive in this country, because we need to continue to push good positive head. And that's a form of resilience. Resilience doesn't just mean, oh, I'm going to deny the fact that people can get sick and have everybody come and we jump up and say, no. We have to be smarter than that. We have to make sense. We have to obey the laws of the land. We have to obey the laws of Orisha. You know, and be very careful. So I'll continue to ask for blessings for you all. You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. Iwer daji. More tempo ibaniba. Awo pere, ese pere, a sing ball, a sing tall. We ask that each and every one of you will be there. So again, we don't have any public activities for Obatala Festival in the place there. So at least we're trying to be safe, we're trying to make sense. But there will be, like I say, sacrifices and ebos being done during the course of all the Orishas in the yard. People would like to make contributions, they can do so. They could pass through the yard. Like I said, there's no assembly during any day in the week, you know, from now on till then, until make your contributions to whatever Orisha that they do for your battle of God. So, I don't know, that's it.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you.
Yes.
Olodumare continue to bless you and guide you and give you that strength to continue doing what you are doing. Baba Obatala guide and protect you.
And you must remember that the Obatala Festival is still going on until the 27th. The one in Ileife.
Yes,
the children Obalesu and all our elders are there. And they continue to pray for the Obatala Festival in Trinidad. You know, we have a nice connection going. We are well organized. You know, honestly, you know, so I want to say praise and thanks to Obalesu for organizing and trying to bring back the old way. You know, the old way it used to be when we had a Aprise, when we had Yeye Mesu, when we had Obala, when we had Yeye Allah, and everybody has a function.
Facts.
You know, to take this thing forward. So you go back and you get the old ways and the old titles and you bring them forward and you move forward. Anyway, we continue to have a peaceful and pleasant evening.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you.
Doing a good job.
Yes, Baba.
Go for it.
Uda, Baba.
Thank you, sir.
So that was the Obatala King of Trinidad and Tobago. Passing the information, because you know, if I says the laws of the land must be respected, we must respect the laws of the land. Some of us might like it, some of us might love it, but we must respect it. And this disease is something not to play with. And coming from the Obatala King, with what he said, if he was someone who liked festival and he was looking for pump and he was looking for flair, he could have said, forget that, let me do it thing. But he's showing his commitment and his respect and responsibility as the Obatala King of Trinidad and Tobago to let people know, yeah, what, you could stay in your own space and we could do this together as a people, as a nation. So remember, at 2 p.m. Saturday, we'll all gather, put on some white. You must have some white too. Get some white. I know I have, because I Obatala initiate. I put on my best. And I will be giving that praise and that reverence and that ashe to myself, to my family, to my community. to everybody. So we need to stand as a people and stand as a nation and remember what we are about. Also on Saturday, Yami Egbe Imo in Tunupia having their ancestral festival. Same thing. Same COVID restrictions and all this thing, So let us all support each and every one. So Baba is back across to you. It's now 8:15. So I'll just like to play some ads from the sponsors and we're coming right back at you. The Ifa Orisha Way of Life on the Shit 919 FM.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to tell you about the ride sharing app called Travee, Travee. It is the most reliable, it's the most comfortable, it's the most affordable, and it beats all the other ride sharing apps rates. Download today on Google or Apple Store. It has pre-booking features, SOS features, right now features. Did I tell you it's the most affordable? Download on your Google and Apple Store today. Travee, Travee.
The Ifa Orisha School of Enlightenment is here and ready to welcome all children ages 2.5 to 5.5 years old to learn in a unique and exciting environment. Who are the Yoruba people? Where was the Mali Empire? Who is Gangang Sarah? What is Ifa Orisha? Your child will learn the answers to all of these questions and more. Our Ministry of Education approved curriculum includes storytelling, drumming, drama, music, dance, and other exciting teaching tools. We offer learning in a caring, safe space as we instill positive values. For more information and to register your child, like us on Facebook or call us at 366-7558. The Ifa Orisha School of Enlightenment, a preschool that will transform your child.
The Ifa Orisha Way of Life is kindly sponsored by Omo Inu, All Things Woman. Their contact number is 365-4332. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. They are the Women's Haven distributor for Trinidad and Tobago. We also have the Lock Duck. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Their contact number is 352-5706. We are also sponsored by Bridal Bouquet TT. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Their contact number is 491-7539. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Thank you.
Sponsors for the Orisha Way of Life. Nice Nuts Quinlan brand bottled coconut water for the freshest and the most purest coconut water. Their contact numbers are 716-6396. Kamara's Culture Store, the #1 important supplier of genuine products from Africa, located at Adams Bazaar, Main Road, Shogunas, 672-8438, 320-8866. Gossip Gel Polish, 382-7587. Pedi by Risi, 398-4474. Temple Ojuba Orisha, Umelu, Egypt Village, Shogunas. Banjela Music Productions. Nubian Experience Clothing that tells part of our rich African history. Number 6 Woodford Street, Arima. Contact number 688-1979. Oriomi Nicole Huggins Health and Wealth Lifestyle. Number 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Onyx Trading Wholesale and Retail Minimart. Number 1 Cemetery Street, Dago Martin.
Yeah.
back at it on the Ifa Orisha Way of Life on the Shoot 919 FM. Baba Ifundeji, King Shaka, yours truly, MC Duke. Halatu Mission. I have an announcement to make from the Obatala King concerning the festival. Contributions for the Obatala festivals can be made to the Obatala Scholarship Fund. You can bring your contributions to Itaosa, number 51 Alberto Street, Woodbrook. Contact number 622-0029. So I say again, contributions can be made to the Obatala Scholarship Fund. All you need to do is walk, drive, well, no planes not flying, and you can bring it to Itaosa at number 51 Alberto Street, Woodbrook, 622-0029. So we back on the discussion that we was having with Baba Ifundeji. Yes, Baba. It's all yours again.
I would just like to take up from something that Obala said, that on Saturday he's asking everybody, Obatala devotees, or those who are not Obatala devotees, at 2 o'clock to pay homage to Obatala. If you have an Obatala pot, you can do so. If you don't, and your shrine, your temple, your egg bear, your pale has an Obatala space, you can go there and do it. What this does is, when in 2020 last year that the country was shut down and people couldn't go to places of worship, persons were then required to worship from home. And I said that, the Orisha community was in a good place to do so, because most of us should have been taught how to pour libation.
Yes, facts.
How to ask simple yes or no questions with Obi and Kori for ourselves. So while yes, it is good to congregate, while yes, it is good to fellowship, community, Orisha devotees should, in the main, have the ability to do certain things for themselves.
So true.
So Orisha devotees should have been least impacted by the ability of not having to go to a place, because you should have been able to pour libation for yourself. You should have been able to ask simple questions for yourself. So this too shows how
organized,
structured we are, how we have been teaching and passing down the information on to those who are coming up. So now, there's not Obatala Festival at Ita Osa in Woodbrook. There's Obatala Festival all over Trinidad and Tobago.
So true.
So, we're still celebrating.
Shaka, we have an man.
I mean, as much as the COVID-19 pandemic, we say, have crippled a lot of our movements, what Baba has really raised there is that, based on our spiritual teachings, we have that power and that ashe to pool our energy wherever we are. Even if one has to come from Ikakas, we could connect with everybody from this point here to Ikakas, to Point, to Separia, to Pinal, to Barrackpore, to San Fernando, to Cuva, to Charlottesville. We could connect as about Halach children. At that time, 2 o'clock, we go, we put our heads down, and we call our batala. And we give that reverence. And I am very much sure that in time, the Orisha and positive ancestors would help us maneuver ourselves through this global pandemic.
Sure.
May death not come to our relatives at the hands of COVID-19.
Sure.
Because I am very much sure that Orisha and positive ancestors would see us through. I am sure of that.
Sure.
And what a festival is really about giving thanks for what we have received on a daily basis, which is life, which is that comfort, which is, that hope that Olodumare, Orisha, and our ancestors give us, and all that Obatala has been giving to us. That is why there is a festival to celebrate and give thanks. It's about thanksgiving. So I even sure too that when a person gathers in their home or shrine, or they partake and share of the food of Obatala or Orish Anla, and when we share the food of Orisha is when we get strong.
Sure.
Because a family that eats together stays together.
So this is an opportunity. This is a manifestation of Obatala. Obatala is creativity. So if you can't work this way, you use the energy of Obatala to work this way. And this is Obatala Festival this year.
Yeah.
Obatala is creativity. Obatala was the one who was given the responsibility by Olodumare to create the human form.
Facts. It's beautiful. Alatumishe.
We Obatala people are...
Nema, Alatumishe.
I picked when you holding your children's hand and yours down and you calling about...
I close it outside.
Yeah.
But I believe I will stay at home because I want to start to fast and put myself in that mood and really go towards it, and to get that blessings and also to make things better for myself and my family and even my community. Because I sit down here and I was saying to myself, I might even walk down in my community and just call people out at 2 o'clock and say, because if the Catholics could do, the Seventh-day Adventists could walk through and say, let me do this, let me do that, why must I be? But at the end of the day, Saturday, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful day.
In Obatala festivals in the past, there will be the procession.
Yes.
And the procession, some people look at the procession and say, okay, they go around the block and they go into the avenue and come back up. But the procession is an aspect of healing and cleaning and cleansing for the community.
True.
But it's not just for the community that you walk around. It's for the wider national community. It's for the wider global community. So we can't walk around the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. So symbolically we make a small block. But it encompasses everything and everywhere.
Baba Nziga Reed says here, for the non-Orisha persons listening, how can they participate in the celebration?
I would say for the non-Orisha devotees, as Obala said, put on something white and pay homage to Obatala. Obatala is the Orisha that is responsible, as I said, for the creation of human beings.
Really?
So, all of us are children of Obatala.
Facts.
All of us are technically Obatala devotees. So, all you need to do is wear something white and give thanks. Give thanks for that you were able to get up in the morning. Give thanks that you had food, that you had water, that you have air. Give thanks for yesterday.
Facts.
Said that if you give thanks for yesterday and you give thanks for today, you will be given tomorrow to give thanks.
Really?
So, Shaka said, give thanks. Our festival is giving thanks for the things that you have received. And some of your blessings, it's just that you receive it, but you don't even realize that you receive it yet.
You need to connect it.
Yeah. You know, sometimes we may be praying for something and the door of what we're praying for may close. It doesn't mean that our prayers weren't unanswered. Sometimes that thing that we may have been praying for was not for us. You know, so our God hears and sees all things, and they know what to extend to us as part of our destiny. So sometimes a L is not a loss. As Mashal says, it's a blessing.
Yesterday,
It's a blessing.
Yesterday I actually listened to the song in depth. Actually listened to the song because as an announcer, you had us do soca too. You had to listen to the songs and hook certain lines that you could extempo on it, And I hear that and you come and say it, and it's so true. L is not a loss.
All the time. Sometimes it is just certain things are not for you at that time.
Some of us are fortunate not to have our prayers answered. What we were asking for was not the best thing for us
At that point in time.
So we didn't get it, and then we vexed and we upset that we didn't get it. But that was not the best thing for us. Or sometimes the L is not a loss, and the L might be later.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we ask, we petition. We ask. I give thanks that doors were closed to me, so I didn't have to go down those roads.
And that's so true,
Yeah.
Because of certain doors closed, because they closed certain doors open, I was able to go down this alley and bend this corner and come back around. So when they sit down and they look back, why was fun, man? When that door closed and I end up on the next side watching back where that door closed and say, how are you over here, boy?
You're like,
Life is so, boy, this Ifa is the truth.
And it even connects back to about Allah as well, because as we know the story of Ogbe Oshe, when Abat Allah was told to go to the market and buy a laborer, help. And Ifat told him the first thing he sees, buy it. When he went, he saw a cripple, but he was patient and he was obedient. He bought the cripple. And it was due to the time and the patience, even though he felt that at the time buying that cripple was a loss. In the end, the cripple turned and brought in lessons for him. So, but Allah is...
like I say, sometimes you go to these feasts and you go to these parties, and sometimes I say, I did just forget Obatala. There's certain parties I will go to, I doesn't want to call the name. People let's say are biased, I always talk about that. I wish not to say that, but Obatala is part of this tradition. We need to pay him that respect, you know.
Yeah.
We need to venerate him. We need to, you know. Boy.
And even the connection to Orun Ella in Araoshe, this story says that it was Orun Ella who held a chain for Obat Allah to come on earth, you know, to set up, you know, the affairs of the earth. He was the first, but it was Orun Ella who held the chain for him to come down on it.
And that is cooperative working.
Facts.
If Orun Ella held the chain, but the chain is made of what? Is Ogun the chain?
So it's so much interconnected.
So is somebody holding somebody's hand?
Yes.
The same way that our parents
Somebody
held our
using
hand.
someone's elements too also.
Of course. If Obatala is the wish of creativity, but we say blacksmiths and jewelers are Ogun devotees, but they create. So they use the Obatala principle in creating.
Yes. And remember, earlier in the program, at the start of the month, we had said that it was the wisdom of Obatala that helped to clear this civilization from mankind. Even though Ogun was there, the driving energy, the driving force, it was the wisdom of Obatala. All right, you know, and they all sit and consult each other, you know, so that even consolidates the principle that Ifa is not about individualism, it's about community. It's communities coming together to make things happen. It's about people connecting to make things happen.
Atiba Swamba says blessings from Ili Juba Gogbo Rishami Mofun Osa of Tibaland.
Kale.
No. They have been Atiba Swamba from day one. He have been listening to the program. You know, he has been listening. I mean, the program has grown from strength to strength. We had our faults, we had our down times. we learned from it. In growing, you must, as you said before, you walk, you must creep, and you must also learn to fall. And I will take that and put that in my world from today. And I will take it and use it in my life going forward, because learning to fall is understanding how not to fall.
Facts.
If you don't fall, how you gonna know how it feels not to fall or to fall?
Facts.
You understand? And it's deep. And every time an elder comes here, I learn something. And I just always say, I like the position I sit. I don't sit here for fame or favor, because I am a part of radio. I be here on a Friday, I be here on a Sunday doing soca and reggae. And here I used to do R&B on a Monday, you know, and then I turn around and say, but what are you doing? And I said, nah, I need to put this thing here, but you know, and it is here. So I'm not here for fame, I'm not here for favor. I here as a medium to get the word out, to a continuation of a story that was said by the ancestor in Fulham. You know, and people will say, the two of them come on from, who's King Chaka, who's Anatumishi, they come out, you know, but elders can sit and see that we going somewhere. We really going somewhere. You know? So we urge elders, whatever part of the country, or they get in contact with us. If we had to come for you, we will come for you.
Sure.
If we had to just do an interview via phone, which is a way of technology, Ogun again.
Sure.
You understand? That we can connect and people can understand and get this ideology that Orisha is some bad thing. And the next thing I want us to look at, Shaka, we need to dive in this thinking that people feel Ifa and Orisha is two different.
Something separate.
Yeah.
Apart, yeah.
You understand? Ifa is the word. And we need to have a discussion on the show about that.
Facts.
Because I hear somebody just over the weekend say, oh, people that say they're going to IFA, they're going to IFA. Say that to me, say, oh, Shemo. They go tackle that just now.
But we always had IFA. We always had IFA. What has happened recently is that we have gotten, because of the reconnection in a more structured manner with the continent, but Babalawos and Yanifas and other persons, we have gotten a more structured concept of what IFA is. But we always had IFA. The elders of past would cast Obi. They would do their divination.
True.
So we always had IFA.
True.
Ole Ogunriola likes to state that his great aunt, who was the head of the compound, and that compound at Ileshoka was formerly known as the Dollies, that was the Osuna family shrine, that she would tell him, you need to get your own literature. So we're getting it now. We have different forms of different aspects of literature coming out on Orisha principles and the Odu, and information on the Orisha in book form. We have that aspect of it, and we have the knowledge coming in directly from persons on the country. So we're merging all the information. IFA is not new to Trinidad and Tobago.
I even know that Chief Oramfe, he said that IFA has been here umpteen amount of years.
From the beginning.
Because he even said, oh, we get to, he went through and that is our next person I want to bring back on the program, because people keep understanding, who's IFA? They say, I don't go to IFA. They say, who's Iwer Miller? But as the show progress, we need to understand, we need to let people understand that, Baba. They confuse a lot of people, even people who are believing in the diaspora, that why they saying that? These are people should know this.
Well, the confusion would come because sometimes when one attempts to delve in multiple doctrines at once, that is where it puzzles and confuses, the road, because IFA is the beginning, the middle, the end. IFA knows yesterday, IFA knows today, and IFA would even tell us how tomorrow would be. And IFA is so extensive, based on, we have 256 Odus or chapters.
And each one have about
1,680 verses.
Thank you very much.
And it is so extensive. And all of IFA is not even encapsulated in one book. So we could, from this standpoint, sit and say that IFA is the healing of the nation.
Sure. I like to say, Kali, to Chawara Luku, Ishubaye, also she says, Alafia, good night. Blessings to all, good night, yeah.
That's Baba Andy, who was here from Blue Basin.
Yeah, I believe so.
A nice man. Good night, Baba.
Yeah, so it's going good. We're not getting there. We are there.
Yes.
We just need to get the guidance of our elders. Continue supporting our ancestors.
Sure.
And we need, as you say, Baba, we need to creep and learn how to fall. And in learning how to fall, we will learn how to get up and walk. And by walking, we will know how it feels to fall. So don't do shit. Do the right thing. You know what I mean? No,
Do the right thing.
it's just do the right thing and stop, because I mean it might sound bad because I hear people just call man, I call you sometimes Shaka, I say boy, and now get a call from somebody who was listening to the show. No, now I feel real good. A guy reached out to me on Saturday. Says, boy, I was in a watch party and I saw the Orisha way of life and I get caught up in it, and he said, well, I'm looking for this long time, and he say I feel good, and he say when you watch it 2-3 times, and he say watch now, this brother is a man to get in contact with. So I was saying to, I should say this boy, I was saying to Ifa, I was saying this to Orisha people, if we do anything, let we do it right.
Yeah.
So when somebody come to us, let we don't tie them up. I talked to her here. She said she went and somebody initiated her and she paid $1,200 for IFA initiation. And I said, so you have a pot? I said, yeah, we're going on, sister, go get back on there.
Yeah.
We tying up people, Shaka, and this is what giving us a bad name.
Yeah. And that is why even in the show, we always say this one thing all the time: seek the counsel of adepts, seek the counsel of responsible people who know, because it is them who would give us that proper guidance. And even though there may be persons out there who would be selling for the wrong thing, it is when their time of transition they would have to answer for misleading people.
Yesterday I read about the longest, oldest divinity, and it said that if you don't live a life of good character and you appeal, even your afterlife will be affected.
Yes.
I said, I'm a bad so. I said, okay.
That is facts.
Okay. Because knowledge, we need to read. We need to teach people the right thing. We need to teach people the right thing. Yes, some people say they go up on Facebook and learn, but there are things that at least go to Allah and ask Allah.
Yeah.
Is this right? Not because you see somebody light a candle on YouTube, you go and light a candle and do this and do that.
They have their reason.
And then anything that is done, if you do a divination, if I do a divination and you do a divination, we get the same Odu. The prescription coming out of that Odu could be different for you, different for me.
True.
So when I get my taboo, it is not, this is the taboo for this. It is my taboo.
True.
So there are persons, there are Obatala devotees who have certain taboos that other Obatala devotees don't have. Because it is, and that's one of the nice things about it. It is very specific to you as an individual. And it requires you as the individual devotee to make your individual and personal connection to Olodumare, to the Imale, to the Orisha, even to your ancestors, but most importantly to your Ori.
Facts.
And that, regardless of how big an elder, how many titles you have, you're liable to slip and fall, you're liable to make mistakes. But that's okay. Because sometimes when I make a mistake, it allows somebody else to learn from it. And it is not the concept of perfection with that everything that you do must be right and it must be in order. That's a fallacy. That's nonsensical. But you can be perfect because you can be perfectly you.
True.
With all your flaws and your faults, you strive to be perfectly you.
True.
And that is the perfection that you need. Not to be always correct and everything, to be perfectly you, to fulfill your obligations, to fulfill your destiny, to fulfill your ipin. That is what it is. And once you do that, you're perfect.
You are Pile.
Yes.
So, look, Nziga Reid says here, this will be the final comment we'll deal with for the night. Say Kaleta and see Douglas, blessed night to the panel.
Kale.
Nziga Reid says here, people are seeking spiritual assistance on social media. That's scary to me.
And people are giving advice on social media. That is equally scary.
Even though people would be seeking advice, for those who know, please direct persons in the right direction. Please, because failure to do so, when that time's reach, when that time comes when one has to answer, you would have to account why you sent someone down the rabbit hole, you know? Find adepts, find what is for you, find it.
And there are adepts, there are a lot of adept members of the community around.
Yes.
You know, it's not about the money, and it's not about this, and you know, but there are adepts. Get in contact, and there are other platforms like there's Soca by what's his name, Sean Singh, Sean Singh. There are different platforms that you can watch, and you can get in contact with members of the community where they can direct you to an adept Babalawo, an adept Iyanifa. There are strong shrines and ilays, parleys around Trinidad and Tobago, from Piti Valley to Sawa to Tableland to Arima
To Matura.
to
Point 14.
Go to talk about down there. You understand?
And Tobago as well.
And Tobago. You know, I don't know about any Tobago, so I'm not going to say, but you know.
Even in La Romana as well.
Yes, by Babadel. You know, there are people, there are depths that you can go to and find out. Just in Egypt village, Baba Arila Fakayode, Banjela, you know, there are people. So in wrapping up, Baba, I'd like to say thank you for coming. May you do Mary continue to bless you and guide you, give you health, strength, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. May you be blessed. May you be able to teach me that I'm able to call you. We can have some discussions, because when the young ones could sit with our elder and have these kind of discussions, it's healthy for us, and it helps me grow as an individual within the community. So I'd like to say thank you. Would you like to say anything in closing?
I too would like to give thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks.
I would like to give thanks for all those, as I said at the beginning, for who contributed to me being who I am and where I am. But it is not so much a matter of elders teaching. Because first, if you have to teach anything to anybody, you have to first learn, understand it. And even in teaching, even in speaking, hopefully the person would not be giving information, but would be sharing information, because sharing information is a two-way street.
Sure.
So if elders, and you know, the title of elder is a responsibility. It is not rank. It is not fame. It is a responsibility. And it is a responsibility that, as much as possible, I try to hide from. But you know, but I give thanks that, you know, I have been able to come and share some information, and that information has come both ways, because I too have been able to learn. So I petition Olodumare, I petition the Imale, the Orisha, the ancestors, and all positive and benevolent entities to continue to allow this program to be, to allow other programs like this to manifest, to continue to clear from the minds of people, initiate and non-initiate alike, people in Trinidad and Tobago and all over the diaspora and all over the world, to remove from their minds some of the negative imagery of Orisha practitioners, of Orisha practice. Let us as practitioners be the ones who make that invocation into the universe to remove that negativity. Let us, by our actions, let us, by our words, let us, by our very thoughts, put positive energy into the universe, so that we and our children to come and their children and their generations to follow shall have it a little easier and a little better than we have had it.
So Shaka, we have about 3 minutes, we love to end it. Awa usoro ilewaru, awa usoro ilewaru, awa usoro ilewaru, awa usoro ilewaru. Esenkankubwe, oye, esenkankubwe. Kawa masuru, awa rusuru ilewaru, awa rusuru ilewaru, awa rusuru ilewaru, imani kope kawa masuru, awa rusuru ilewaru, awa rusuru ilewaru, imani kope kawa masuru.
We shall fulfill our traditional rights. We shall fulfill our traditional rights. We shall fulfill our traditional rights. Nothing shall stop us from fulfilling our traditional rights.
We shall fulfill our traditional rights. It is done. May Lord Mary and your wishes guide and protect you. May your ancestors cover you. And may we all meet here next week Monday, where we can pass on knowledge and edify and educate you. Have a blessed night, Trinidad and Tobago. The world. Up next, David Mohammed with the Black Agenda. David Mohammed.
Street 91.9 FM, the official station that defends the nation. Dealing with current issues in society.
If we could only get, as I've said repeatedly, the sort of attitude that the population as a whole has to the entire carnival celebrations, if we could have that throughout the Trinidad and Tobago would be the richest country in the world.
The official station that defends the nation. The Street 91 FM.
Trinidad and Tobago. What have we become? It's time for us to live in peace, love,